Good night and good night.
Oh, good
Hello
night.
and welcome to Living Clean and Sober with Johnny Rags and all my lovely guests. And Artie over there. Say
Good
hi,
morning.
Art.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Tonight we have with us, getting right into it, Gary over here on my far right, the lovely Gail, who's
Hello.
been a guest before. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you. It's great
And we
to be
have
back.
two very special ladies tonight joining us. And Virginia is one. Hi, Virginia. Welcome
Hi.
to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. And we have Amy.
Hello, how
Hi,
are you?
Amy. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, anytime. We hope you come back soon.
Sure.
You too.
Oh, definitely. You know that.
Do they still
I'll be
tell
here
you?
tomorrow.
Well, you'll be a little early for next week, but if that's what you want to do, that's fine. How are you, Art?
I'm good.
Glad to be back.
I know, it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
And it has. What's new and exciting?
It was. We had our comedy night
Yes.
Friday night. That was a blast.
Yes, it
We're going to
was.
do that again in September, I believe.
Well,
September's going to be a big month with the walk.
And then yesterday we had Di Lorenzo's Pizza fundraiser. It was a busy weekend.
Yeah, sounds like it. So here we are, another fun-filled night on City of Angels, COA Radio. If you want to listen, you go to coaradio.com. And if you want to call in, we love callers. The number is 609-241-7103. You can talk live with us, ask any questions you have about recovery or whatever else is on your mind. Right, Gail?
that's right.
Gary,
We're
how
here
you
to
doing?
help.
I'm good, John. You know, got here by any means necessary tonight.
I like that.
You know, told you I was going to be here. I was stuck on Route 1 for about an hour. Missed dinner. But I'm here. I'm happy to be here. You know, despite that, I still have a smile on my face, and you know, life is still good.
That's awesome.
You know.
What?
You don't have nothing smart to say? Right? I was looking for you. Where's our little
talk down.
board?
No, I'm working on that.
God, we're out of sync tonight. We usually we work off each other perfectly.
Right.
A little rusty.
A little.
So dinner was good.
Very good.
I enjoyed the company,
Yeah.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
and thank you for allowing me to join you guys for dinner. And so, what's up? How you doing?
Very well. Good.
Tell us a little story about. Tell us a story about City of Angels and what happened.
Okay. Well, I currently right now have 17 months clean and sober as of yesterday. Thank God. Thank you.
Yes. Marvelous.
Hasn't been the easiest thing, obviously. Of course, it's been a many year struggle for me and my family as well, than anybody else involved, but hasn't been the easiest thing, obviously. Of course, it's been a many year struggle for me and my family as well, than anybody else involved, but I a couple years ago was in a really, really bad spot. It was right around Thanksgiving, and I was using really bad, and just really at a bad low point in my life, and I was really desperate for help and to get treatment at that point, and I didn't have private insurance. I had Medicaid, which anybody who's been down that road of trying to get treatment when you have Medicaid, it can be very frustrating, I guess I should say. Thankful for the facilities that do accept it and the ones that are there, but it's not always the easiest thing. So I had called, every number that accepted Medicaid, and one after another was told, we have no beds, 6 weeks, 3 months, there's 45 people in front of you, call every single day for the next 2 months and we'll see what we can do. And at that point, to be frank, I told the lady on the phone, I'll be lucky to be alive in 6 days, let alone 6 weeks at this point. So, as anybody in recovery knows, those windows can be very brief where you find and say to yourself, I need to get help. And, if you need to act on it right then and now, because that might not be your mindset an hour from then or the next day. So I was just really upset and frustrated. And my family, of course, very worried as well. Everybody was in agreement that I needed help and I needed it fast. So my father had said to me, I heard of this place, City of Angels, why don't you call them? And I was like, no, I just called everybody. What the hell are they going to do for me that, I can't do for myself? And he was like, well, what's the worst thing that can come of it? There's the worst thing that's going to happen is nothing. And nothing is happening right now. So he gave me the number and I called and, I spoke to a woman named Cheryl who was, very supportive, really understanding, and I was a mess. I was so discouraged at that point. And, she sat on the phone with me for over an hour, listened to me cry and tell her my story. And, she, disclosed her experiences with addiction and, having lost her son. And it was just really, comforting. And she said to me, we're going to get you help. I promise you. And I have to admit, I was a little, I think, not sure of what they could possibly do for me. I had already told them there was nowhere I could go. And sure enough, I hung up with her and she called me back, relatively soon and said, we have a bed for you tomorrow morning. And it was, the next day was Thanksgiving. And I was just, in disbelief. She, asked, can you get there? I was living in South Jersey and I had to go to Bergen Regional Hospital and it was Thanksgiving. And, I said, yeah, my father will bring me. And she said, well, if not, somebody will pick you up and bring you and stay with you, which I couldn't believe, that somebody was willing to give up, any time, let alone their Thanksgiving, to transport me to a facility and wait with me to make sure I could get there and get me a bed in a place that told me they had no beds. So my father drove me to Bergen Regional the next morning, and anybody that's been there knows, what that's like. And, they took me right in. I told them that City of Angels referred me, and they told me, despite the fact that they had no beds available, they always kept 2 beds for people from City of Angels. So I was just immensely grateful to have gotten there and for their help, makes me emotional. But, I was a complete stranger to them. They didn't know me from anybody. So I went to Bergen Regional and I was there the maximum that I was allowed, which is never enough. But, happy to be there.
28 days.
Actually, at Bergen Regional, I think it's 5. So, and the help continued from there. From there, I was offered a bed in a 28-day program, again, with the City of Angels, at a place called Turning Point that, again, had no availability, but kept beds for people who were referred from City of Angels. And they even went as far as to, pick me up from Bergen Regional, and they brought me there and made sure I got there because, I'll be honest, at that point in my life, I don't know if I would have made it there on my own. I had done that a few times. I had left a facility with really good intentions of going on to a longer one and never ended up making it, or, always want that one more. And, they wouldn't have it. They flat out said, we will give you this bed, but you have to come from here to there. And I kicked and screamed. I had every reason in the world why I needed to go home first. I have to go home first before I go there. I've got, I have
never heard that
No. I have to get my clothes and
New news.
yeah. They're like, we'll have somebody bring your
No
clothes.
problem, Mom. Packed your bag.
Exactly. Well, she wouldn't pack the right stuff, everything. And,
Right.
they basically said to me, like, if you're not serious about this, then don't go, because, now with 17 months clean, I understand that, there's always somebody out there who that bed might be life or death for them. So if you're not serious about it, then don't take up a bed in this facility. That's at capacity where we only have 2 beds set aside for people from City of Angels. And, I remembered that talk with Cheryl, and I got in the car and I went, and, I was really grateful for that experience. Like, I had never heard of these people before. Like I said, they were complete strangers, and it was just really inspiring, just to have that kind of, help. Yeah, really. Like, that's what it comes down to.
And we don't give up, it's
Yeah.
when you go, how do you get one more thing from Moms, and you run, we're still there. We're
Yeah.
ready to come back that next time and then next time, because you never know when that time is going to be your aha moment.
Well, exactly. And I'll be completely honest that, I went to that facility and I stayed clean for a while, and I ended up relapsing after that. And, that's exactly right. There's, I don't want to discourage anybody by saying, if you're not serious about it, don't go into a facility, because nothing really bad will come of you. The only worst thing that'll come is getting 28 days clean under your belt, but exactly. But, exactly. It was a really good experience. And, I've referred people to them. I've told people to call them. Actually, Gail, she's my best friend's mother. I've known her like since I was a kid. And
Long time.
Yeah, very long time. And just by chance, I had saw that she had posted something on Facebook about the City of Angels, and that she was working with them. And that's actually how she knew of my experience with them. I was like, oh my God, I used them. They're awesome. They helped me out so much. And, that's how we connected on that level. And, I think what you guys do is great, and we really need more, organizations like that out there. And it's just a really good thing you have going.
Things have gotten a lot better. I remember when we first started, you couldn't get a letter to the editor. Now we're doing specials and news specials, and we're on the radio, and we're
Doing big things.
we're trying.
Yeah.
Well, as we get along in this, I feel like the stigma is lessened than it used to be.
Definitely.
Like we can talk about this open, and like I talk about this open at work
Yeah.
all the time. And I work in politics. I don't work in the field, but like, everybody's so plagued and affected by what's going on that it's you can openly talk about it, and people, it's different than it is today. So that's why I believe, you're probably getting the forum that you wouldn't have gotten before.
Right, absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it gets better, but we still need more. We still need the cooperation of law enforcement, government, nonprofits, people that are in recovery, working together to get the message out and to try and, help
Yeah.
the stigma and put an end to this epidemic.
Absolutely.
You always need more.
Yeah, exactly. I have my mother with me here, and thank God for that. I am very fortunate in the sense that this is, when people say it's a family disease, it is in more than one way. My father's a recovering alcoholic, my brother's a recovering addict, and so am I. My mom is an angel. I don't think she's ever even smoked pot, but no, I'm kidding. But, that's great. But in the sense, I look at people, I'm very fortunate to still have family support and involvement, and that they never gave up on us, or, there were many times where they had every right to, but it's just really, like you said, it's good to know that there's places out there that will do those things, like pick you up and give you a ride if you don't have that support, because, I know a lot of people who don't have that. And, it's just, it's those little things. As an addict, we'll use any excuse, and it could be, I don't have a ride, like, oh, I could go there, but I don't have a ride. So it was,
We
it's
pick you up,
exactly.
we'll put you in a hotel, we take you to Wawa and feed
Hell
you.
yeah,
We'll take
I
you
mean-
to the doctor and get you checked out.
Exactly.
We help you get your Medicaid. I mean, we literally hold your hand.
Literally.
through
Well,
that whole
that's,
process.
yeah, that's
The
what it
whole
takes.
process.
Yeah.
The only thing you need to do is show up.
Exactly. And that's necessary because, like I said, even when I wanted the help, you're still hesitant, for whatever reason. And because it's all you've known for forever. And it's just good. I had every excuse in the book, and they had every answer to, everything I said. I need cigarettes. We'll stop and get you cigarettes,
As recovery coaches, we're there to remove your barriers to recovery.
Yeah,
We're the
exactly.
last ones you're getting over on. Mom
Yeah.
and Dad, sure,
Exactly. It's good. It was very good. And I agree. I think what Gary said is right. We're in a much better place as a society when it comes to addiction. I always say, like, I'm very open about my recovery and my addiction. I'm not ashamed of it. I think it's 2017. If you're ignorant towards addiction, like, you're the idiot, not me. I mean, if you can't open your eyes and see what's going on in this state, let alone this country, we're no longer the ones that are like, the minority, unfortunately. But, I think that it needs to be more open and more okay. I suffered in silence with this disease for a very long time because I was ashamed and I didn't want to hurt people, and I was worried about what people would think of me. And,
Once you realize how little people really think.
yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Or that it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going in the right direction, but we need a lot more. There's always going to be more stuff we need to do when it comes to this disease and educating people.
Yeah, and then the more and more people that do what you did and go through us.
Absolutely.
the
And
better
there's a
it is.
lot of mom and pops out there. I mean, in
People
Pennsylvania,
return.
here in New Jersey, I mean, right here within probably 25 square
What
miles.
town is this? All right.
Hightstown, downtown Hightstown. Within 25 miles of here, you've got a lot of resources. Mom and pop nonprofits. and,
Exactly.
counties that are realizing they have a problem and you can't arrest your way out of it.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper to offer your residents recovery than to lock them in jail.
Exactly.
We haven't realized that here in Mercer County yet, but we have in a good part of the state. And I think, everybody hates Christie, but, we're all like, hey, come here, big guy.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
us addicts are like, hey buddy, let's give you a hug.
I've seen a commercial with him in recovery.
Yeah.
You're going to see him probably
Don't
every
get me
10
started. I absolutely
And
love
it's-
him.
I mean, he's
And it's cool, people are aware, this is a municipal cycle when it comes to elections, and, I'm running people for school board, district judges,
Yeah.
borough council, so small local races, and they're campaigning on this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It has to
And
be
they,
at this point.
They need to campaign.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
And everybody knows that I'm open with this, so, and I'm the one that writes their messaging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, these diversion programs and, about not just educating the students, but the parents and the teachers too,
Exactly.
for early intervention.
And there needs to be more education of the parents because it starts there at home. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it
really
does.
does.
And
So people are going door to door and talking about this stuff, and you didn't see that 10 years ago. You didn't see that
absolutely
before.
not.
And
See it, none of that.
It was
None.
the anonymous people.
it's
Exactly.
great.
Get in the church basement, you dirty people.
One thing I want to cover tonight is what we talked about at dinner.
Yeah.
Drug court. We have here Gary, is
Okay.
a graduate
Awesome.
of drug court.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yay.
But
Everything
look
clicks
how
in.
young Gary is now.
Yeah.
He was able to make his amends, turn his life around,
Yeah.
become a productive member of society. Why should he be marred? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
With something in his record that's going to prevent him from getting a good job
Yeah.
and living the American dream and all that.
True story. My fiance, he's also in recovery. I mean, and he's an Army veteran. He did 2 tours, for this country. He was working at a place, and he got hired, and then they decided to run a background check, and he got let go because of it, because of something to do with his addiction that he did in his addiction years ago. And unfortunately, you're right, it does come down to that. It shouldn't be something that you should be marked for the rest of your life. You can't go get a good job because you made a mistake.
That's it. He's a young
Exactly,
young
yeah.
kid. Why should he have his dreams squashed
Shouldn't.
for a simple mistake he made at an early age?
Exactly.
My record held me back every single day until until I found what I'm doing now. And I'm an independent contractor now. I'm not on the books. I started in this business because through somebody my father knew. Then I had a lot of success. I won some races, and then people wanted to hire me. But it was when I first was convicted, and I was only convicted 3 years ago. I'm a felon. And,
Same.
I went through an interview. I was picked at an accounting firm. I have an accounting degree. I went through an interview. They picked me out of 100 people. I did 3 interviews. They loved me.
Yeah.
They sent me my offer and everything. Then they gave me the background
Exactly.
check. And,
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and, and they withdrew their offer.
Yeah.
Now, it has nothing to do with the person
You
I am.
are. Exactly.
It held me back a whole lot, and it's gonna hold me back again in the future when I change fields.
Yeah.
But I'm working on a pardon.
That's great.
Well, isn't there sorry to interrupt, but isn't there a thing now where you can get your record expunged?
Yeah, I
Well, I
believe
thought
they're
that was
saying
part of drug court.
It is.
Yeah.
Drug court is now offering, if you successfully complete drug court, for a certain amount of time, you can have, well, I don't know if they've passed it or they're working on it, but they're saying if you've
they're
successfully
working on
completed drug court, you can have your record expunged.
I can speak for here in New Jersey. In New Jersey, after you've successfully completed the drug program, your record does get expunged because there's a member in each court
Now,
that takes care of that. I knew the lady that did it here in Hamilton.
Well, there's always I know where you're going to go with this.
mine had different levels.
Exactly.
You can't expunge a
Right.
felony, you can only pardon a felony.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
So, obviously nonviolent misdemeanors they can get rid of, but
Yep.
a felony, I was lucky to not do a 4 to 8 upstate. So therefore, without the expungement, it was still a good deal, but it was hard work. Delaware County is the one I graduated from, was 2.5 years. And, the first year I wasn't willing. I walked in there to stay out of jail, and I
Exactly.
wasn't willing. And then I got caught. I got in trouble a bunch of times, and they sent me away for 90 days. I got out 90 days. I went into my first treatment program ever. I was never an inpatient before, and that's when things started to change. So and I always say that if I would have never gotten that trouble,
Yeah.
I would have never made it to treatment. You had to bring me there from jail to get me.
Well, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing goes for me. I mean, I've been using for a very long time, but, I said to John at dinner, put me in jail, put me in a program. I can work a program, man. You want me to wake up, you want me to eat, do your dittos, say your prayer, all that. I can do it. Like, I can thrive that way, but it's when I'm left to my own devices that I can't do it, but, I have to agree with you at this point. I was arrested and I'm, convicted felon, facing charges that stemmed from my addiction, obviously. But, I wasn't ready either. And, going in front of that judge and thinking I'm just going to BS my way through this. And then it came down to, the reality of, this is going to be my life if I live, and I shouldn't be alive probably 10 times over at this point, but, do I really want to do this? Do I want to keep going in and out of jail and be in these programs and everything for the rest of my life, or do I want to do this? But, I have to admit, as much as it sucks, if it weren't for that, charge and getting in trouble, I'd probably be dead, today, because sometimes that's what it takes, and it doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes you just have to say, all right, now maybe I'll do it. It'll stick.
See, and now, as City of Angels, we're also involved in some initiatives like the CARE program, that we're putting in police departments.
Yeah.
And there's more that there's POWERY. There's probably 3 or 4 different programs here in New Jersey. I don't know what they have, as far as Pennsylvania. But those are, if you get arrested for possession, DUI, something that they have to arrest you for, you still get arrested. but they call us in, at that
Yeah.
point in time where we can sit and meet with you and go, hey,
That's great.
jail recovery.
Yeah, that's great.
That is
But
great.
that's going in from square one. You know what I mean? Where that would have prevented you from
Exactly.
probably half the crap you're going through right now,
Yeah.
because it's set up so they're downgrading it as long as you're doing what you say you're
Exactly.
doing. They're downgrading the charges. If it's a felony, it'll become. You know what I mean? So that at the completion of your program, it can be
Yeah.
expunged. That all has to be worked out with the prosecutor and stuff. But they're all sitting on our opioid heroin task force
Of
now. You know what I
course.
mean? So things are considered that weren't considered even.
Oh,
just 2 years
exactly.
ago.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely going in the right direction with stuff. And I think, like you're saying, the early education, not just to the kids, but to parents as well. And not only that, it's just opening up those doors. I mean, and being able to talk about it more. My father's a recovering alcoholic. My brother's an addict. My parents knew what to look for. You know what I mean? But there's always that sense of, that denial, like you don't want to believe it. And,
Not my child.
yeah. And,
Been there, done that.
exactly. You do that and you want to believe what your kids are telling you. You want to believe, I only dropped 100 pounds this past year. It had nothing to do with the crack cocaine. I just did a really
Then
crazy
you go to
diet,
Narragansett, you find out if their lips are moving, they're lying.
yeah, exactly.
And you start putting 2 and 2 together.
And educating them about stuff. I like a lot of people, my addiction started for a long time. I would say my addiction started in a doctor's office, but through, I think, a lot of education and realization, I realize now my addiction started in a red Solo cup when I was in high school. There was something about myself that I wanted to be different. And, it doesn't always start in an alley or in, the streets of Patterson or, an abandoned house. These addictions are starting in red Solo cups, in high school parties, in the woods, you're in your basement at your friend's house, in the stuff that's in your medicine cabinet. And we need to educate, parents and family members about that. And also, I think, educate them on how to breach that subject, because if your kids aren't afraid to come to you and say, I have an issue, I know a lot of people that had suffered because of what they were afraid their parents would do, kick me out, flip out on me, punish me. But we need to, I think the bottom line is we are really going in the right direction here, but we need a lot more. And
See, the whole frustrating part for the parent is, you need help. We know
Yeah.
you need help, but you don't.
Where do you
ain't
get the
going.
help?
It's frustrating to live the drama of that life.
oh God, yeah, it's exhausting.
Well, there's too many. There's a ton of circumstances where no matter how early it's recognized, and there's only so much a parent can do.
Exactly.
Because when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, you couldn't tell me anything.
No way.
You couldn't. And and you can
disagree with that.
And you can see it. You can see it early on. Like my 3rd grade teacher told me I was going to end up in jail one day.
That's encouraging.
You can.
Yeah.
Nothing like a positive.
Yeah.
Nursery school and the thing. Get used to those bars.
That's how you can see it, though.
Yeah, it
at such a
starts
young age.
younger,
But,
yeah.
I wish I had an answer to how things are corrected in early prevention and everything like that. But I was going to do what I was going to do, and I had to figure it out.
Yeah, you're right.
But
I agree with that.
if it was earlier, maybe if you were educated earlier on the harms of what it was going to do, and I'm not talking about, we go in, they bring us in high school. Guess what? It's too late.
Yeah,
late.
the
You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
We need to be doing these programs in middle school, and you need to be educating the parents, in middle school, maybe even elementary school.
Seriously.
But they did, they started out with the DARE program.
That was a joke.
Yeah, that
But
was
their program
Yeah.
failed.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist any longer
I know.
because it doesn't. But what you need is you can't scare kids straight.
Exactly.
You need to
That was the
steer
issue.
them in the right direction. Our program, Michael DeLeon's program, you're bringing kids their age into the school, telling their stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take, I think.
I would like to see coping skill development.
Yeah, seriously.
Stuff like that, and
And for parents, there has to be more things like, in plain sight, where it's a teenage bedroom stoked with clothes on the floor, hidden drugs, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything that's there, and you have parents walk through. Actually, I'm trying to put this together because they do it down in Gloucester, and have them come up here to Mercer County and do one of our lecture series with that. And it's hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
You actually work at the prosecutor's office. They give you a drug kit. You hide everything, and you have, in a lecture type situation, I would think you have maybe six parents walk through and see what they find.
Yeah.
And then show them what they didn't find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all that, which I think would be an awesome education process.
Absolutely.
Yes, it would.
They probably would go home that night and start, looking at rooms.
Yeah, seriously.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, but Gary brought up
609-241-7103. We love to hear from you. Give us a call. 609-241-7103.
But I was
I'm
going to,
sorry.
I was going to say Gary brought up a good point about the non-positive reinforcement in schools, because my son had the similar situation where he was told he was going to grow up to be a nothing, you
Yeah.
know, and I think with teachers and parents, I mean, I think that it's so hard to be positive, but you have to keep instilling in your child that, they can come to you, you're not going to throw them out, you're not going to disown them. I mean, as hard as it is, you have to show them that you're always going to be there to support them no matter what. Unconditional,
Yeah.
Plus the education.
But sometimes,
Well, there's a fine line between
sometimes
support and
you
enabling.
have to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If you have younger children in the house, I couldn't have them seeing that, So
Yes.
I mean,
That's
and it
horrible,
was drama. You know what I mean? So it got to the point where you got to go. And
Yeah.
I mean, where she was flipping out and screaming at the top of her lungs, and I'm going, look, man, I'm 60 years old. You ain't tackling. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you call 911 and tell them some story, they're coming and tackling me, and then they're going to
Yeah.
ask questions. You know what I mean? I'm
true.
not doing that. So you need to go.
Yeah.
Well, you're
of
right.
course,
You're
there's
right.
always, every
But you know what?
circumstance is
That
different.
was in that particular situation. It had to come to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
They
I
didn't
do. I
where
know
else to
exactly
go.
what you mean. Yeah. But I'm saying even if they have to leave
But
the
enabling
home,
is a fine line. You know what I mean? Parents come to us all the time, and they're like, oh, my daughter said she was hungry. Great. Take her out and buy her something to eat.
Yeah.
Don't give her the money for it.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, it
Exactly.
does. It got, and unfortunately, it got to that point with my parents. I'll never forget. I called my mom, from Patterson, where I was living, on the streets, and I really was. I was starving. I was like, I need food. I'm hungry. Like, can you just send me $10? And her response to me, which I never thought I would hear, was no. And I was like, what do you mean? It's just $10. What am I going to get with $10? She said, $10 will buy you 2 bags.
That's right.
And she was right.
That's right.
And she didn't, what she did, she called a pizzeria, she placed an order over the phone and had them deliver me a pizza on the corner.
That's
But
the
you know
right
what?
thing to
Remember
do.
that.
But it was the right thing to do, because you know what? The reality was I was starving, but damn well, if I got that $10 and it came down to it, I would take that 2 bags over that slice of pizza any day, every time again. And,
9 out of 10.
yeah, 9 out of 10. And it took that from my parents, but I can remember for years, our extended family or people's answers were always kick them out, just kick them out, and my parents, they never, well, I can't say they never did, but at that point, that wasn't the right thing to do, because at that point it was, for what? That's not going to stop them using, so they can use on the street, this or that. But, what they did do was they eventually gave us an ultimatum, and that was, you can live here if you're clean and you're sober, but you cannot live under our roof and continue to use. And, both of us decided we'd rather continue to use than live under their roof. And
My kids are in the same exact
Yeah,
thing.
and,
they're both back under my roof now.
exactly, yes.
They're both clean and sober.
Yeah, and that's sometimes what you need, but I think knowing when the right time to do that is, and when
And
when
it is,
isn't,
and it's a fine line.
It is.
And I think parents have a hard time where the line is for enabling. It's
of
like, hey,
course.
my kid smokes, so I'm trying to make them quit heroin, not smoking. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make them quit everything that they do
Exactly.
at one time.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
too
So
overwhelming.
I'll buy them a pack of cigarettes. Why? Because they're about to go through a very hard time.
Exactly.
You know, if they're to
I
go
feel
in
the same
recovery.
way, yeah.
And that's the last thing that I'll do that for people that were bringing somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
When we're giving them a
That's
ride.
what
It's
they
like,
have.
hey, do you smoke? Yeah. Do you have cigarettes? No.
They had, yeah, they did it for me.
Yeah.
I smoked for 40-something years. I don't anymore, but I know the feeling.
You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Withdrawal.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, one addiction at a time, I think.
right.
exactly. I mean, it is, and I think it's, like I said, it's just knowing that exactly and knowing those things. And I think that, even little things like that, we do need to educate parents on is, exactly, buy them food, just don't give them the money, because anything like that.
Well, not all the time. It's raining. They're on the corner. They're sleeping, under a building. Go get them a hotel room. Just
Yeah.
don't give them the money.
Money, anything. Yeah, exactly.
If you feel that bad about it, go get them a hotel room. Go buy them something to eat. Go get them a jacket. Go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just don't give them the money.
Yeah,
But
and-
on the other hand, I know from personal experience, if you don't give them the money, they will
You know what? They're going to get the money.
Yeah.
steal, do whatever they have to do to get the money.
Yeah.
An addict is the most resourceful creature on the
Oh my
planet.
God, that we are.
Safer.
Yeah, but if eventually that money runs out,
Yeah.
we end up doing that anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And to be honest, jail was the best thing for me. It
Kept you
was.
off the street.
It couldn't have came at a better time.
Yep.
Washed your
It was
hands.
3 days after I overdosed, and it couldn't came at a better time. And jail was a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I mean,
was.
my brother and I have both said on different occasions, I don't, put me in jail, whatever. I'll get 3 meals, I'll kick, it'll suck, it'll go through a week of, that. But the worst thing about, for me about being in jail was, my parents wouldn't even answer the phone. And my brother said the same thing. Like, that was the worst thing about jail was, realizing, like, when you've had that support your whole life and then having it taken away. And, for my parents, that's probably, they probably slept sound. I know they slept sound.
Definitely.
They slept like angels those times we were in jail because they know we're safe where we are,
had
we're
the radio
alive.
station at the Dwyer Center, and we'd come out, and it was the moms' meeting on Wednesday or Monday nights when we were there. So when we came out of the radio station, I'd get moms that would come up to me and be, "Oh, my daughter was arrested last night." And I'm like,
Good.
"That's great."
Yeah, exactly.
And they would look at me like,
Yes.
"What's wrong with you?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "How'd you sleep last night?" They were like, "Really good." And I'm like, "Why?"
Exactly.
Because you knew where she was. She knew she had a meal. She knew she had a bed.
She's safe. They're not going to.
You knew she wasn't gonna OD.
You might want to die, but you won't. They won't let you. But
After they thought of that, thought of it on those terms, they totally changed their mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, this could be a good thing. This could force her hand into
Exactly.
recovery. I mean, which she might have not have considered.
and I agree with Gary. Like, it was a blessing in disguise for me as well, because it's we're not. Just because we do bad things doesn't mean we're bad people,
We're sick people.
Yeah, we're sick people, and I always say that, like, addicts are not, we're not bad people trying to be good, we're sick people trying to be well. And, you're right, jail is not, the place for us. And I mean, every woman in that jail is there for, I'd say 90% of us were there for, addictions and, drug offenses. And I think we're going in the right direction of things with the legal system, but it definitely can exactly force your hand and to say, realization of this is going to be my life, in and out of jail. Like they say, jail is institutions and death. And, it's true. It is very true.
Not a fun, interesting life.
No, it's not. It's exhausting.
One
Necessarily in
point.
that order.
No, it's definitely, you're right. It certainly isn't.
But here's the whole picture. You have law enforcement, like Artie mentioned, and
Yeah.
talked about, and we all are in agreement with.
Right.
They have to do their part.
Yeah.
City of Angels, we have to do our part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if everybody, they're all pieces to this big puzzle.
Right.
That Will has and continues to do to solve some of these, because when everybody was talking, I'm thinking, my mom cooked for me and said, come to the door, I'll give you sandwiches.
Yeah.
But you can't come in the house.
Yeah.
Now, to have parents tell you that,
Yeah.
now, you would think I would go, well, something's wrong with this picture. I'd say, well, that'd be great, because I hadn't eaten for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So I would mosey along. First of all, she'd have to get a hold of me. So she'd have to tell this one to tell that one. Because there was
Yeah,
no
there was no
cell
cell
phone.
Yeah, back then.
Yeah.
So every once in a
It's a
while.
really long can with a string.
Yeah.
Every once in a
Smoke
while, I'd
signal.
scrape up 2 quarters to call the house.
Yeah.
You know, because they were, at that point in time.
Try and find a phone booth now.
No, you're not gonna. But I'd have to rustle up a quarter to make a phone call. You know? And when I see moms and dads involved with their children's lives, that is just so monumental.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to town meetings where I've saw, like Staten Island, I told you about the
Yes.
Catholic Church that has
Yes.
it. I've been to a ton of them. They actually had parents who told about their children that didn't make it
Yeah.
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
And having the courage, like Pam when she came on. A friend of mine, I had got him in treatment 3 different times, and the kid finally overdosed and died. And that was December, and she was on the show when the beginning of February.
Yeah.
So the courage.
Yeah.
She was
that it
active even
takes.
faster than that.
Absolutely.
Just like Mrs. Oswald, you know, she was like a week after. I mean, actually, their story was they wrote such a brutally honest
Right.
obituary.
Oh, I've heard
that
it. Yeah,
got the
I know who you're
press's
talking about.
attention,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's becoming more and more, you know, I've seen that, you know, on social media, more people doing that with, you know, these honest and open obituaries, you know. Trust me, you know, it's something odd when you hear that a 20-something-year-old dies of like heart complications. You know, the first thing you think of is like,
Right.
you know, and I think that's the right way to go. You know, we do, exactly. We need as a society, no matter what the situation may be, whether it's, you know, God forbid you lose your child to this disease, we need to be open and brutally honest about it, because, you know, suffering in silence is what keeps people sick. And,
Exactly. That's
you know,
why-
we need to say, yeah, I lost, you know, we lost our child to drug addiction. Our son died of an overdose, you know, because there is somebody out there that is going to read that, and if it affects even one person, then you're getting somewhere, you know.
You know, we remember the number was 129 a day we were losing. It is up to 145.
Yeah, and it's really, you know, it's scary, and I think about it now, and you know, I thank God, you know, I'm clean and sober today, and I don't have to live like that anymore. And you know, I just the other day I was at the doctor, and I was in Walgreens, and I saw, you know, a kid in there, and he was shoplifting baby formula, of course.
It was boosted.
He was boosting, yeah. that's exactly. And, you know, like, I knew exactly, I could just tell, you know, like, I knew what he was doing and why he was doing it. And, you know, I had a flashback because, you know, that's something I did for a long time to support my habit. And, you know, you don't realize how exhausting your life is when you're using. And I mean, it's a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day week. It's a job to be an addict, you know, and especially a homeless addict with no money, and, you know, to wake up every day and do that. But I think what people don't realize is, you know, there's the everlasting, you know, debate of, you know, whether it's a choice or this or that. You know, when you're a drug addict at that point in your life, it's about survival. You know, it's about getting up every day. And you talk to any addict or opiate addict, and, you know, yeah, survival is not getting sick. And it's very easy to say to somebody, you know, let them be sick, you know, until you do it. Like, that fear is what motivates you to
Yes.
not get clean, to not, you know, to not go through that. So, you know, that fear of being sick will motivate you to do everything you ever told yourself you will never do in your life. You know, I have a lot of I nevers. You know, we all have the things that we say we will never do, and slowly but surely you start going down that list until you're like, holy shit, I might have 1 or 2 left. But, you know, it's about, you know, educating everybody. And so whatever happened, the guy ended up getting caught and the cops came, and, you know, I overhear them talking about the kid being a junkie and a degenerate. And, you know, when it comes to law enforcement, sometimes we need to educate them as well. I mean, I've been arrested, and I was arrested, you know, in a town, and, you know, I had cops say right to my face, let me guess, you know, you want us to feel sorry for you because you have that disease that causes you to be a scumbag, you know, stuff like that. You know, that's not exactly encouraging stuff. And I do understand, like, at the end of the day, you know, on the other hand, I was arrested, you know, in Fairlawn, actually, and I was living homeless, and you know, to this day, it's one of the nicest things that I think anyone, you know, somebody's done for me. You know,
Except for the city of Angel.
yes, exactly. The officer he drove me back to where I needed to go, and he bought me through the drive-through at Burger King, and he spent $15 on me for food because he knew I was hungry and I was homeless. And, you know, he said at the end of the day, he goes, yes, I have my job and I have to do what I have to do, and you live your life and you do what you have to do to get by. But at the end of the day, we're all people.
And that's exactly true. And if
You know?
more police officers
Yeah.
realize that they're there to protect and serve,
Exactly.
it would be a different world. And a lot of these police departments that are getting involved with our CARE program
Exactly.
care.
Exactly.
I mean, they were doing this stuff before they put that program in. I mean, you know, you're going to have bad seeds no matter where you
Of course.
go, you know, and that's unfortunate. But you can go into any industry, including this one.
Yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
find
You're going to find
people.
bad seeds.
Ignorance, there's no cure for, you know, there's always going to be people who are ignorant.
Police officers who became police officers because they wanted to serve the public look at it completely different
Yes.
than the ones who came military and they're
Yeah.
making a career 25 and I'm out and I don't care about
Exactly.
you. You
Yeah.
know, and they're there. But there is,
hard to
and we're
find,
slowly getting there. And I'm happy. I'm always happy to see more police departments. Hey, we're working hard here. I mean, we're trying to embarrass the ones that aren't involved into
Yeah.
getting involved.
I mean, I had a friend tell me that he actually walked into the Manchester Township Police Department, his brother did, who's an addict, and walked in there and told them, you know, he's a heroin addict and he needs help. And they bought him to a detox center in Toms River. And I was like blown away to hear that, you know, like, again, you know, everybody has different circumstances. You know, whether they can walk into a police department or not, but the
You know
fact
what?
that
It
that's
depends on the
available.
police department now.
Yeah.
Ocean County's on mark to have 300 overdose deaths
Yeah,
this year.
that's what I mean.
300.
That's what I'm saying, you know, and the fact that somebody could do that,
It's almost one a day.
yeah. So it does, you know, we do need to get all areas involved. You know, whenever drugs are involved, there's going to be, you know, crime, you know, a lot of times there's going to be police officers. So to hear that there's, you know, police departments are getting involved in that stuff is great.
And the positive note of having some type of a care program where you're not arresting your addicts, because
Yeah.
that's what happened. They're going to go to jail, they're going to
Yeah.
get out, they're going to bleed down, whatever it is, because we're overcrowded. And guess what? They're going to be right back out doing it again
Exactly.
because you haven't solved the problem.
No.
If they're not doing it in there.
In jail, exactly. I know people who've caught habits in jail and prison.
Well, it used
That's
to
what
be,
used to
you got
scare
2
me
buckets in
about
jail,
Yeah.
one for each end.
Yeah.
Have your-
And good luck with that.
Was your experience the same, Gary, as what Amy's was? Were you in jail, and what course did you take to get where you are now?
You know, to be honest, you know, for me, you know, death was the easy part.
Yeah.
I was suffering.
Hell yeah.
real
I'd
bad.
wake up hoping to
And,
die that day.
You know, I didn't know a way out though. You know, I was not educated on the disease of addiction. You know, for the longest time I thought I could stop until I couldn't. And, you know, I was blessed to be on drug court and using on drug court. You know, my habits weren't that bad, but you know, using 3 days a week, and which is, to me, is harder than doing it every day.
It's so hard, yeah.
And, you know, I was blessed to be on there because, I used to say, I can never get homeless. I'm in jail before I get homeless,
Exactly.
But, I got away. I did 60 days in jail, and it had to be followed by treatment.
Yeah.
It had to, because nothing changed in jail. I just got away. And
Exactly.
I remember being on the phone with my girlfriend saying, next time we're using this Thanksgiving, probation's closed, while I was in jail.
Yeah.
But I went to treatment, I got educated, and, I started to reflect on how much I used to suffer, and how bad things used to be, and just the mental obsession, like it wasn't a whole physical thing, but mentally it was a huge obsession. And I had a family session with my father, who's like the biggest, toughest man in the world. He's like jacked up.
Yeah.
And we both bawled our eyes out.
Yeah.
Bawled our eyes out. And, I went to a really good treatment facility. I went to Malvern, and I started to take suggestions, and, slowly but surely, things started to change from the suggestions. And then I got out, got a great sponsor, got a great home group. And
awesome.
I've just been following ever since. I've about 20 months.
Awesome.
And,
Good for you.
I work the steps too.
Yeah.
It's important to me. I'm on 8, and they changed my life.
Take
Yeah.
the steps. The elevator's broken.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's true. I would say exactly. It's very difficult. There's a very big difference between being clean and sober and being recovering. It's one thing just to stop and one thing to be in recovery, like you said, and to be actually working the steps in a program and all that. And I noticed a big difference in myself from when I was just clean to when I'm, working a program and actually living, life in recovery.
Yeah, and the
When
talk.
we were using, and we were sick, what do we want to do? Get well.
Yeah, exactly.
The next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, we get well. What
And-
Gary was talking about, the steps.
Yeah, absolutely. Working on yourself.
Yeah.
And it's work.
Yeah, it is.
We must change.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And, to talk about family, where my life has evolved to, 3 years ago, my girlfriend's father used to show up to my court dates to see if I was going to go to jail. They used to pressure her to testify against me. He came and filled my gas tank up today.
Yeah.
We
That's awesome.
we have an amazing relationship. She used to have to walk 4 blocks in one direction and me pick her up because she wasn't allowed to see me.
Yeah.
And she's got 18 months, and our lives are better than it's ever been. And it's just crazy. My relationship with her parents has just evolved. I smoke cigars with her dad, and they used to hate my
It's only because I have a 45 and a shovel, and Dad, anyone will miss you.
he really used to come to my court dates.
Yeah, no, that's great. It really is. And it is so important, no matter what, to have support. And I think, like we said, the City of Angels, and to know that there's programs out there for people who don't have that kind of support, it's really important. It is.
No. Why don't we hear from Mom?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to add. I just, I'm
How
incredibly.
did you feel while this was all taking place?
Well, we should probably note she is the proud mother of not 1, but 2 recovering addicts. So.
Where and when do I start? No, I'm just incredibly proud of Amy and all addicts who beat it. And
I mean, I can say, I know she's not the best talk. She needs to be prompted, but I know,
Is that a cue?
no, I'm just saying, I know from their experience, it was hell. I mean, we put them through hell.
it took me
we
a
really
long
did.
time. It took me a long time to get to that point where I would say no. You know
Yeah.
that. I would say yes every time.
Yeah.
And finally, you just, you've had enough is enough. And everybody has
Moms
that
are
break.
tough, man.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
has that
And look-
breaking
and
point.
see-
yeah.
You seem like
Look at
a
what
yes
we got
sir.
here.
You
Yeah.
seem like
Man, I had
yes a
You're on the
lot.
show with Amy, okay? And you probably butt heads a lot before
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it was
I
just
know.
not. Yeah, absolutely.
And
You
my
know.
mom-
Did you GPS Attic Tracker?
No, they didn't even. When he was
That's
talking
okay.
about payphones, I mean, there is still there is one working payphone in Patterson, and I would do the same thing. Like every couple of weeks, I'd like stop there and I'd get enough change to call them, and basically let them know I was still alive. And my father was the tough one always. He was like the no BS kind of a guy. So tough love and. But we put them through hell. But like I said, I'm very fortunate to have educated parents who are not ignorant to this disease, who didn't look at us and say this is a choice, who understood that we were sick and we needed help, and not just being like little degenerates. But
But I have to say, on that note, Amy is actually the one who educated us. I mean, Amy is very, very intelligent on this subject, and
Yeah, I actually
everything I know is actually from Amy. I mean,
Yeah, I learned from my girls too. It wasn't a
Yes.
choice.
Well, what I should say is, a funny little tidbit, we were talking about early intervention. I actually have a CADC, and I am a drug and alcohol counselor. I worked in the field. I knew everything there was to know about addiction, and I knew all the warning signs. I knew everything that could happen to me. I knew everything. I counseled people with this disease. I lived through it and with my brother, and I think it's just human nature. I still took a prescription drug from a doctor for an injury. I certainly didn't need 30 milligram Percocets for like the pinched nerve in my back.
I mean, it just goes to show that
Yeah.
even you were not
Even somebody with the education, I still did it because
You know
it's
something with counselors,
Yeah.
what's happening is their relapse rate is high because they're so busy taking care of
Others.
people
Yeah,
that they put
exactly.
themselves
Their
on
business
back
is
burner.
pain
Exactly.
management. So.
yes.
Yeah.
So, exactly. I had all the education, but, there's something like, Gary was saying, it's human nature. Like, we want to believe we can stop. We want to believe we can control our lives, like, that's just human nature. You don't want to tell anybody you're not in control of yourself. So, even with all I knew, I still, took a drug that was highly dependent and with, a way, I knew it was addictive because I thought I could stop when I wanted to until I couldn't. And then it became, I just followed that progression in the disease until, the next thing you know, it's, you're doing dirty heroin.
But you're not alone. It's
Absolutely not.
it's the way this epidemic is.
Yeah. Starts with the
40
pills.
million other Americans
Yeah.
that started with a pain thing.
Absolutely.
Susie went to
Yeah.
play soccer and hurt her knee and had to take
Exactly.
Percocets. And as good
Exactly.
parents, we made sure she took that every
Yeah.
6 hours as
Yeah.
prescribed.
Yes.
And then you get a tolerance, and before I
Then
knew
they
it,
raid.
it's
Then they
this
raid
and this.
your cabinet, your grandmother's cabinet, your neighbor's cabinet, your friend's cabinets, until there isn't any more cabinets.
Yeah. And then somebody says, hey, try this bag. It's the same experience. It's the same thing.
Just gonna do
cheaper.
it once.
I'll never forget. Yeah. The first time I was dope sick, I had no idea. I was like, I have the flu. My brother looked at me who was, using, and he goes, you are dope sick. You don't have the flu. And I was like, no, I'm not. And he was like, yeah, take another pill and tell me if you have the flu. I didn't have the flu.
Nobody thinks
Find
it's
out
gonna
real
happen to
quick,
them.
don't we?
Yeah.
So here what we have here tonight, right, is we do the show every week. Gail comes on, Gary comes on, but here you two are. Now, you have a captive audience.
Yeah.
Because you can be an advocate for recovering people.
Absolutely.
In that, and so can you. Now, the best scenario we have here is your two children are alive.
Yes.
Exactly.
So you won't have to stand up there and tell people you don't know that you lost a child. So now, how I would take that, and just a little push maybe for you, is that, okay, we did the City of Angels thing. What can we do in our community to get people riled up?
Absolutely.
I'm sure you have a ton of friends with parents just like
Oh
your
my
mom.
God. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how it gets going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you leave here and you go, wow, them City of Angels people, they're on the ball.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this where we're at? And then that's how it
Yeah.
keeps
And
going.
that's how we stay, and that's how we grow. I mean,
Exactly.
And that's the inspiration.
Yeah.
we had the Hamilton chapter when I got involved, we're headquartered where we're headquartered out of.
Why?
And now we have Hillsborough, Cheryl's always been up in North Jersey. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really an official chapter type of a thing, but she's there to help, you know. Ocean County,
Yep.
Gloucester County, you know, and as people want to get involved, we go start a meeting in your town.
Yeah.
You
Love
know, if
to.
you
Tackle Pennsylvania, Gary.
You know what? It's a matter of starting a meeting. It's how City of Angels got started. You know, we needed meetings, we started them. You know what I mean? Parents meetings, AA meetings, NA meetings.
Yeah.
They're all things that are needed. You start with a COA family support meeting with a little table and a few brochures and see who comes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you
And
find a
donuts
church.
that
The
are-
Baptists
Forget
have
the
been
coffee.
the Baptists have been good to us. No? But it's a church basement, you know, or a
Yeah.
church room somewhere where, you know, they want to get involved. I mean, that's how we got involved, you know, in this church. And, you know, we still have our office, but, you know, we were kind of fighting with the township.
Yeah.
You know, lost part of our building. So they were, you know, they offered us here, you know. They have a beautiful kitchen downstairs. We do, you know, he does special services for us, you know.
That's awesome.
Into the light, you know,
Wonderful.
things like that.
Yeah.
Recovery coach.
I mean,
Recovery coach trainings we have here, our Thanksgiving dinner, our Christmas
So I
party.
met you.
Christmas party's a good time. I was
yeah.
there.
And I mean, I just want to thank, you know, everybody at the City of Angels. Like I said, you know, although I didn't, you know, at that time continue on and maintain sobriety at that time, you know, I am, every treatment facility I went to, every stint in jail, every detox at some point has played a role in my successful, you know, recovery today. Any time away, that was not, you know, all for nothing. Everything you know, every day you have clean and sober helps in some way, shape, or form. So I'm just, you know, extremely grateful, like I said, for the help that I received from you guys. And I think, you know, if anybody's out there and they're on the fence and you don't know where to turn, you know, City of Angels is a really good place to start. And, you know,
They're
they
angels.
have, yeah, they
They're
really
angel
are,
ring.
literally. And
Everybody's got an angel.
Live up to their name.
exactly. And there's, you know, if nothing more, or even if you just need somebody to talk to, you know, like I said, Cheryl sat on the phone with me that day for an hour and
Johnny Angel.
really was helpful. So, you know, I'm really grateful for all the things you guys do.
And I am too.
We're very grateful that you came out.
Of course.
Thanks.
course I would.
Are you going to do the word of the week?
We're going to do our word of the week.
Oh, boy. Oh, I wasn't prepared
Give us the
for
word of
this.
the week.
How about gratitude? Sounds like this is
appropriate.
what we've
Yeah.
been speaking about, is gratitude.
Way apropos. You got a little thing for that, or
Gratitude.
with the sound?
Dance. Want us to
effects
dance on the
by
table?
Art. Couches in here, Art?
We could dance. Good night.
everybody.
That's what we're getting close to.
So at this time, I'd love to say, Gar, thank you.
Thanks for having
We
me.
love having you on here, Gail, as always.
Thank you for
I
having
love
me
having you
again.
guys. And thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank
I
you for
was
having
really
us.
excited when Gail said you were coming, and it just puts it in perspective about what we do
Yeah.
and how effective we can be. And, you know, if you decide to do something where you are, you
Yeah.
call me and I'll be there.
Yeah, I'd love to,
And
honestly.
when I say I'll be there, that means
I know
I'll
you'll be there,
That's
yes.
good. Yeah, that's one.
Let's
Isn't that
get it
so
going.
weird how you become accountable when you get
Let's do
sober?
it.
Like you actually show up to
Let's
things,
get it going. Let's get
even
it
if you run out of
through.
gas or something. Yeah,
Okay.
You're still
I'm
here.
sure.
I
I'm
wanted
sure.
to turn around so bad.
I bet.
Yeah.
We were waiting.
He ran out of gas. and
He
got
still made it,
But
yeah.
What's that tell you?
He would have walked,
Yeah.
right?
Those service plans that come with your car are really good.
That's one option. But my heart goes out, and you guys inspire me. I'm very grateful that you decided to come and come again.
Yes,
Don't be strained.
absolutely. Yes, thank
The
you.
more the merrier. Now we have new digs. See our
Yeah.
leather couches.
Beautiful.
All over the
I
couch.
see the new couches.
Very nice.
We're stepping up in the world.
There we are. But our
Stay
gratitude.
here and do the
and
show 24/7
Don't think
now.
that, don't get overwhelmed. Don't think that you can't do something, because
Yeah.
you can.
Yes.
And all you'd have to do is reach out. You got Artie,
Right.
you got myself, you got Gail.
Yeah.
Well, let
Get
me
a help.
know and I'll be there.
Love to. Yeah. I mean, exactly. We need.
So, and Artie said it, all you gotta do is have a meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
with
right.
some brochures and
Okay.
that's that.
I'll give you my
Absolutely.
card when you're done.
Please,
if you ever
yeah.
need me.
We got the walk, the overdose awareness walk in Delaware County, Eddystone. This weekend starts at 10. Last year, we had 3,000 people there, probably going to be triple that amount. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
May 2nd is the anniversary of the Overdose Prevention Act. And that was the one where if you call 911, nothing
don't get
happens.
Yeah, you don't get arrested or anything. That's
It's
great.
the 4th anniversary. It's going to be at the Friendship Center in Princeton.
Princeton.
Yep.
I like Princeton.
I'm going to go.
Awesome.
May 2nd?
It's May 2nd. I believe it's next Tuesday, it's next Tuesday. It's 5:30 to 9:30, and it's a word keynote speaker.
Okay.
I have it on our Facebook group, so you can go there and
Yeah, if you just
all the
put it
information to
on my,
register and purchase tickets.
On the, the Living Clean and Sober, I'll see it. So,
Great.
thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
And thank you all my guests. Artie, you did a great job.
Yes,
And
thank you,
until
Artie.
next week, be well.
Be well.